There was a man who was tending his sheep in the extended pastures. He had a not small amount of sheep, and by the nature of animals they would scatter and go in every direction, and at the end of the day he would gather them and bring them home. But sometimes he would see that they were not the same amount. This situation would be repeated day after day. He thought of a way to test whether his suspicions and doubts were true or he was wrong. One day after he returned from the pasture with his sheep, he brought a quantity of stones and began to put a stone in the pot every time one of the sheep entered the pen. So the number of stones became equal to the number of his sheep. The next day he did the same thing and actually noticed that a number of sheep were missing. Here appeared the need of man to count. Well, let's think about how he accomplished this task, and how he invented the idea of counting. Take one element and add one to it each time, starting from nothing. First, man knew the one, or ones. That is the group of one. When he counts only he can say, 1 for 1. 1 for 2. 1 for 3. 1 for 4. 1 for 5. And so on. This is something that is impossible to continue or very difficult. Then he thought of counting with his hands. But the maximum he could count with his hands was 10, but he needed a larger number. Then there was a need to represent these numbers. The first idea was the idea of rods, just like these units. As we said, this thing is almost impossible. Then after this, the Roman system appeared. This system requires an infinite amount of symbols. This is practically impossible. Although this system is better than making each number a corresponding symbol, in this system, the same symbol is used with a different number. This reduces the number of symbols required, but it still needs an infinite amount of symbols, as we said. After much thought and deliberation on the issue, the decimal system appeared and is considered the first or, more accurately, the second discovered counting system. This is if we assume that the unitary counting system is the first system.
What is the idea of this system? The idea of the decimal system is based on assembling. We start with 1 and by increasing 1 each time we bring a new symbol. 0, that is, nothing, and will be represented with this symbol. 1, and will be represented with this symbol. 2, and will be represented with this symbol. 3, will be represented with this symbol. 4, will be represented with this symbol. 5, will be represented with this symbol. 6, will be represented with this symbol. 7, will be represented with this symbol. 8, will be represented with this symbol. 9, will be represented with this symbol.
Here, shall we come up with another symbol, Mr. Thinker?
How many symbols do we have?
We have 10 symbols so far.
Okay, let's suffice with these 10 symbols and compose a combination that allows us to represent all numbers using these 10 symbols only. Let's define that 9 is the largest symbol used as a counting unit. If it exceeds that, it becomes 10. This 10 we call a single group of 10, that is, we have a single bundle of 10. Now we have two entities. We have one group of 10 on one side, and nothing on the one side. Okay, what do you do with 11? Let's make two boxes. One of them we put the ones in and we tell it that it is for ones. The other we put the tens group in and we tell it that it is for the tens group. The clear picture will be that there is the symbol 1 on the left, which represents how many tens we have, and on the right is a symbol that represents how many ones we have. So 11 will be represented by 1 in the ones box and 1 represents one group of tens. In the same way, the number 12 will be represented. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
What about 20? How to represent it?
Here is the easy-to-solve picture. This 9 in the ones box, by adding 1 to it, it becomes a complete 10 that can be taken and placed in the tens box. Now we have two groups of tens and nothing from the ones. And it continues in the same way. And at the last number that we can represent in this way, is 99. If it increases by 1, we have a new collection that we call the collection of 100. We are going to make a special box for it. And label it with a box dedicated to the collection of 100. And in the same way, we need a box dedicated to the collection of 1000, a box dedicated to the collection of 10,000, another for 100,000s, another for 1 million, 10 million, and it continues. $100. We are going to make a special box for it. And label it with a box dedicated to the collection of 100. And in the same way, we need a box dedicated to the collection of 1000, a box dedicated to the collection of 10,000, another for 100,000s, another for 1 million, 10 million, and it continues.